Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Mental Conditioning Monday. I'm your host, Elliot Allen, the mental conditioning trainer. How was everybody's holiday week? How was everybody's 4th of July? Hopefully, you had a safe 4th of July. You had some good barbecue as we really start to ring in the summer. We're in full swing of our summer. So hopefully everybody out there is enjoying themselves. The kids are on vacation. The parents are working. We don't get no break, but our teachers are on vacation. Hopefully you guys are getting a little bit of a rest. I know a lot of you guys still do continue to work, but again, it is summer. Hopefully everybody's kind of planning those vacations. You know how much I feel vacations are important to our mindset. We have to have time to be able to get away, refresh, and exhale a little bit, and sometimes just getting out of our normal settings, go into a different setting and just kind of go in there to refresh your mind. Yes, you can physically get some extra rest. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we go on vacation. We actually are running around just as much as we do when we're home because we're trying to visit the different places. If we got kids, we go into places like Walt Disney. We're visiting amusement parks and things of that nature. So we're physically running around, but mentally we're getting ourselves a recharge. We're getting ourselves a rest. That is so mandatory for us to be able to refresh our mental muscles, to be able to get ready to train once again. So as the summertime approaches, I encourage everybody to plan those vacations. Even if you don't do nothing major, get away for a couple of days. You know, my couples, people that are married with children, leave those kids home for one weekend. You guys just kind of get away for a quick getaway. Take the kids maybe the next weekend, but do something to refresh your mind. It's very, very important to get away from the normal grind. That is very critical to us building mental muscle. It's just like physical muscle. Sometimes you got to lay off. You can go to the gym each and every day and you hitting it hard, but then sometimes you just get physically fatigued that you find that, you know what, I need to take a few days off. And then when you get back in to the gym, you find yourself having that extra energy to feel really, really strong. So let's remember to do that. Now's the time to do that in the summertime, and get out, enjoy the weather, and just get a refresh for yourself. So with that, let's talk about this week's message for Mental Conditioning Monday. This week's Mental Conditioning Monday's message is going to be try it. Try it. Try it. Very, very, very simple message of try it. That kind of goes along with what we just kind of opened up with. I know sometimes people don't understand that aspect about, really getting a mental refresh. Some people think, vacations for what? It's a waste of money. You go out there, you spend a lot of money on this vacation. You come back and you're still trying to, fight your way out of a hole because you spent all this amount of money on this vacation. Try it. Believe me when I tell you, try it. I had one of my very good friends many, many years ago. I would tell him, his kids are grown now, but at the time his girls were very, very young. And he's telling me, man, go to Walt Disney. I'm telling you. He's like, nah, you crazy? I'm not going to Walt Disney, spend all that kind of money. I finally convinced him to actually go on vacation and take the girls. And when he came back, he said, man, I got to tell you what, thank you. It really meant something to be able to get away, and I feel refreshed, and I feel ready to be able to get back and do my thing. And you can see it when he came back, he was actually charged, and we got to it business-wise and doing the things that we needed to do. But in order for him to do that, he had to do one thing mentally. Try it. He had to try it. He had somebody next to him that was pitching to him and telling him, you know what, give it a shot. Give it a shot to try it. And when he did it, you know what, it proved to be, what he needed. I had a very similar experience to that this week, which kind of brings on this message for me, just to try it. One of my good friends and a very, very good supporter, I want to shout him out, Big Matt. I give him a special shout out. He reached out to me this week. He watches a lot of the messages on Mental Conditioning Monday. He's a great supporter of the whole movement, and he's always giving me encouragement. He's actually one of my trainers, my firearms trainer. So in that aspect, he's always been like a teaching person for me. But he reached out to me and he said, I love what you're doing. Continue to do what you're doing. But he told me, you know what? And it's funny because he told me this quite a while ago, and I heard him, but I really didn't jump on it. He said, listen, you need to expand what you're doing, and you need to, have different avenues for people to see your work. And he said, you know what, go on YouTube and start making sure you upload the messages to YouTube. Now, I do have a YouTube channel, believe it or not, but I was just going over that with my wife before I went on here today, and she's like, yeah, the last time we did a message on YouTube, Mental Conditioning Monday, was 5 years ago. So I told him, I said, I do have it, but I really haven't, been uploading the messages to that. But the way that he brought that to me, it really resonated with me to say, you know what? Try it. Try it. I'm always looking to ways to expand the movement, to expand what we're doing. I really believe in Mental Conditioning Mondays. I really believe in the mental conditioning movement. So I'm always looking for different ways to expand it. Try it. He gave me an option to try it. But there's two things in those stories I just told you. You have to have people around you, mental trainers for you that you respect, that they're going to tell you stuff and you're going to say, you know what, let me try it. That's very, very critical. Next part of it, being able to try it, is also you have to remember your 4 principles. And you have to remember first your self-evaluation. And you have to also remember your big picture. Those are the 2 most critical things to allow you to make the decision to actually go ahead and try it. Because when we say try it, I want to be careful with that. We're not just telling you to just go out there and just try anything. You know, be careful with that. That's a word that you hear in your head with people trying to convince you to do things that you shouldn't be doing. Go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try to smoke this. Go ahead and try to drink this. That's not what you in your wheelhouse to be doing. You shouldn't be doing that. So I'm not suggesting that. But that's why it's important to have that self-evaluation. This is where everything comes down to those 4 principles. Everything we say in here comes down to those 4 principles. And I'm going to put it right back into those 4 principles. When you hear that, you start considering that try it, does it fall within, that's your self-evaluation, does it fall within your big picture? That's when you have to really give it serious consideration to make that decision and say, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. Even if it was something that's kind of, I don't know, I don't think it necessarily work for me, but try it because it falls within the wheelhouse of what you're trying to do. That's a very important piece for us to be able to start moving forward to other levels, because in life, we have our visions. And we talk about this all the time, and that our visions are ours. And we have that foresight of how to get there. But at the same time, don't nobody know everything. So there's always going to be things that can be interjected into your vision, things that you didn't necessarily see. But that's good, because you're going to make sure, again, you're keeping yourself on track. You're staying the course. Because I am doing my self-evaluation, because I am taking a look at my big picture. And that's allowing me to stay the course and make the proper decision and say, you know what, let me give this a shot. So Big Mac pushed me. He said, you know what, go ahead and do it. I said, you know what, I'm going to commit to him. And I told him, I said, you know what, so said, so done. And that to me puts my stamp of approval, or that puts my stamp of get it done to him, to say, you know what, from here on, that's what I'm going to do. So before I did the message today, I said, let me make sure I can do it. Now, bear in mind, things are going to be a work in progress. So I know I can upload the videos, but we haven't done it in a while. So it may be a little bit rough go the first couple of weeks, but we are on top of it, of trying to make sure that we get those messages on. But I wanted to give a shout out. And again, thank you to Big Mac for being able to put me in that mindset to say, you know what, try it. Try it. That's a very important piece that holds us back in life, that a lot of times we don't try different things. And listen, anybody who knows me will be like, well, you talking on the side of your mouth, because a lot of things I am very set in my ways. When it comes to food, I'm very set in my ways. I don't try a lot of different things. But again, when you're talking about what's in your wheelhouse and your big picture of what you're trying to obtain within those 4 principles, you can really, really open your mind and say, all right, I'm willing to try that, because I'm willing to go to another level of what my goal is. Even as simple as just to break it down in terms of direction. That's a big part of the definition behind mental conditioning, is that, you know, it goes right in line with the book, Life's GPS. I truly believe that we train our minds to get to a certain direction in our lives. We have that, I talk about that navigational mindset. We're training our minds to put the right coordinates in our mindset so we can reach our destination in life. But once we learn how to do that, once you learn the direction, you're driving every day. I know how to go from my job to my house. I know how to go from my job, you know, to the local grocery store, or the different places that you have to go. Or I know how to go from my house to the mental conditioning gym. I know how to go from my house to the physical gym. All these different places, you know how to get there. But sometimes trying a different route expands your horizons. It makes you better, because maybe it's a faster route. Maybe it's a route in which, you know what, there's a detour. I know how to get around it. But you have to be able to try it. It's not an easy thing, and I'm definitely this is something that I personally have to train in. Because I'm one of those type of people that I'm set in routine. I'm set in my ways. I like to go the same way every day. But at the same time, you have to try it sometimes. So you know what? Let me go up this block instead of this block. Let me see where it leads. That's a big part of being able to grow. That's a big part of being able to get better. Because you're going to see things along that new route that's going to say, wow, you know what? That taught me something. That taught me a lesson. But that's part of expanding your mind, and believe it or not, it's actually giving you more confidence. Because here's the piece about direction in our lives. When we have the proper direction, I'm going to slow it down on this last point. When we have the proper direction, when we are really driven by our big picture, you have to believe in that and know that regardless of the detours, I have the directions to stay the course and get back on the course. So even though I went a different way, I have all the answers because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm not ever going to not be able to get back on the track. I'm always going to be able to get back on the track. I'm always going to be able to try new things because if I get stuck, I know how to get out of this because I've matched up my big picture. I've evaluated myself to know that this is my big picture. So I'm never going to stop the car when it comes to this. This is why that self-evaluation is important and matching it up to your true big picture is important because hence that'll give you an opportunity to try different things along the way when we're learning. That goes from when you're in school. I've talked a lot about my son and his trials and tribulations in school, and I'm constantly telling him, you got to try different things, son. Sometimes you're in school and a teacher is teaching you certain ways, and for whatever the reason, it's not clicking with you. You have to go home now and sit down and do your homework and try different ways than maybe what the teacher is telling you. But if you can come to that answer that you're supposed to come to, if you can study certain ways, say, well, this is how I can remember things. You have to try different things. Sometimes it's out of the box. But that's okay because you're trying different things and that's allowing you to be able to expand your horizon. So this week, when you start doing those things that you normally routinely do all the time without even thinking about it, I want you to be able to stop for a second and say, you know what? Let me try this. Let me try it a different way today. Let me try something different today. That's your homework for this week. And when somebody starts giving you suggestions, we all use that term. Yeah, I get it, but... and you go back and do your way. Say, I get it, but you know what? Let me try it. That's your homework for this week. Go out there and try it. My name is Elliot Allen. This is Mental Conditioning Monday. I see you right here again next week. Hopefully I'll be in the gym. I was running around pretty good this week, but I had a pretty good week. A lot of work getting done. So I'll hopefully get to the gym next week. I see you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. And start planning those vacations. Try it. Get away.